selection, and poor performance of the system.
Yeah, see there we go. We got some like cursor lag going right here.
You get what you pay for? Remember, this whole bundle is only 99 bucks. This half of it is only about 50 bucks. To people who don't know how Tegra 3s work, and they just listened to Julie in the marketing, they probably thought this would be more powerful.
This is a beautiful outside with incredibly powerful inside.
And then later they were disappointed by some of the performance issues. Another disappointment was no Minecraft. Even though Julie herself said Minecraft would be on the console in the pitch video, that never happened.
Minecraft is going to be on.
Ouya's Kickstarter quoted this paragraph from Mojang, which said, I could see all current Mojang games go on the platform if there's a demand for it. Minecraft creator Notch tweeted, the problem with Minecraft with Ouya is that it's Android, and our Android version of Minecraft isn't exactly that super great. You could sideload the Pocket Edition of Minecraft if you want, but that's not really a great TV experience. And there were more problems. Like I hinted at earlier, the controller received a lot of criticism, and since I already harped on that, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Thankfully, Ouya tried fixing some controller latency problems with the software update. But I'm not sure how effective it truly was because Brainiac Brent noticed latency with the latest version of the software available. I noticed the same issues too. Julie also stated the company was quietly refining the controller hardware while also announcing plans for a new Ouya in 2014, which we will discuss in a bit. But sadly, all these aforementioned issues were just the tip of the iceberg. Despite tens of thousands of registered developers, many were not embracing the platform enough, so there weren't enough must-have titles on the Ouya to convince people to go out and buy one. Even the top-selling game we talked about earlier, Towerfall, sold 7,000 copies. I think that's a pretty good start for an all-new platform. Like, it's hard to build an all-new ecosystem. But once the exclusivity deal ended for that game, Towerfall sold way more successfully than other platforms. Engadget estimated that 80% of Thorson's sales were from PC and PS4, generating way more revenue than Ouya. Thorson went on to say, being the best game on Ouya isn't a huge deal, but it is nice. Ouch. These issues resulted in an overall lack of adoption for developers, which consequently means there's less must-have game titles on the platform for end users. And that means you're going to have less users using the platform now. So,
what I have is actually better.
They wanted to incentivize developers.
What I have is actually better than Ouya. If I want to play a mobile game, on my 55-inch flat screen TV, all I gotta do is Tiny Village. I like this game because you have to build your own village. But I'm gonna play it on my big screen TV. So what do I do? All I do is bada bing, bada boom. There we go. And furthermore, to do one even better, do one even better. To do one even better. Let's see. Okay. 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 Pair new devices. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. What the fuck? Hold on for a second. Okay, now that controller is okay. What the fuck? It's not. What the fuck? Okay, forget, anyway. Let's see, what the fuck? You gotta be this goddamn weather. You gotta be this goddamn weather. It is fucking cold out there. I mean, it's fucking with the cell towers, who knows everything. What the fuck? Anyways, if I wanna play my mobile, if I wanna play mobile game on my TV, it's hello. That's all I gotta do, right there. No, no, no. That's all I do. I use my tablet as a controller. But I don't usually play mobile games because well, they're boring. And yeah, so unless I'm really bored, I won't play a mobile game. Because they're boring because there's not much to them. There's no levels. There's no skills required. No thinking process required. Nothing. So yeah, I just don't oh yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, see, I get and I can get pre-Wi and built into all my systems. I can get free Wi-Fi anywhere I go. So I don't have to worry about that.
Hey guys, how are you all doing? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Crazy Ken, and today we're not taking our feet off the scam busting gas because I've received tons of messages about this very fishy advertising campaign for the Starscope binocular telescope. It seems a little too good to be true, right? And I will say right off the bat, yeah, this is a scam. And today, we're going to dive into why. So let's take a look at what this telescope claims to be. The most common ad I saw for the Starscope looks like this, a video which tells us the backstory of the product. They claim that it's only $69. In fact, it's actually cheaper than that, and it allows you to see everything from miles away. And the creation of this invention was made possible after an intensive research at Johns Hopkins University. Hang on, that can't be real, right? I mean, I know of Johns Hopkins University, total BS. And you know, my initial gut reaction was, that's Oxford. Just from the architecture, that's what it looked like. So, for grins and giggles, I double checked, and sure enough, that is actually the new college building at the University of Oxford. And that particular stock footage clip is available on pond5.com from Brendan Riley. They also claim the Starscope allows you to see objects from miles away. What they show in the
I
video
can do
is
that with my own
unrealistic,
eyes.
something like this. And we'll break down the technical reasons why in a moment. And they say it's like carrying a
I can see the space station with my own eyes. I have what the doctors refer to as tunnel vision. And if you know much about anything about tunnel vision is like looking through a pair of binoculars or looking at a microscope or telegraph or whatever. Because everything you see is up close. I mean, right in front of your face. I mean. Now, my tunnel vision doesn't always, it's not permanent. My tunnel vision comes and goes. That's why I don't drive, because if I drive and my tunnel vision kicks in, then I could end up causing an accident, hurting someone else, and hurting myself, and I just don't want to be the cause of an accident. I want to be the solution. So yeah, that's why I don't drive myself right now. They say that the tunnel vision could eventually dissipate, or it could be permanent. Because of the explosion in the because of the explosion in the foxhole, you know. So yeah,
$4,000 DLSR in your pocket. Okay, first of all, no, it's not. And second, it's DSLR, not DLSR. Don't know where they got that from. DSLR stands for Digital Single Lens Reflex. That's what this type of camera is. So it seems like they're making a lot of mistakes. And by the way, if you see mistakes like that and you see a lot of other grammatical errors and mispronunciations, that's usually a red flag. Maybe we'll call it a yellow flag. Just be careful around that stuff. Also, I absolutely love how they say it sells for a modest price point, and they show a shot of a person shuffling $100 bills like they just hired the world's most expensive stripper. Not a good image. And they claim the possibilities are endless. Everything from bird watching to observing stars in the sky. And they proceed to show an image of Saturn, which isn't a star. Now, before we take a look at more of the stuff that these guys are spewing for consumers, let's break down the video ad. Next, I want to address the zoom test they show. They claim that the Starscope is capable of this extreme zooming functionality. But what you're
I didn't see this before.
Cage. What are you writing? Cage. What are you writing?
Oh, what am I? No. That's no. That's a question I can't answer legally.
you're seeing is actually a video from Flat Skull on YouTube, and the advertisers nearly stole it. The footage you're seeing is from a Nikon P900, a camera with a lens that has 83x optical zoom, equivalent to a 2000 focal length, which is about 8 times more than the 10x magnification in the first gen Star Scope, and about 5 times more than the 16x magnification in the second gen. By the way, special thanks to Bajiro CS for making this discovery. Next point. Their ad shows different products in different scenes. In the opening shot, you see a monocular telescope with 16x52 magnification, but later the product says 40x60, and the design looks different. Then in the ending title graphic, it says 10x50. More inconsistencies equals more red flags. And by the way, those numbers mean two things. The 10x, for example, is the magnification, and then the second number is the diameter of the lens. Next point. The screen simulations are presented poorly. In this shot, the user's hand is shaking, but the image on the screen doesn't shake. If this were a real demonstration of the product, the bird would be shifting and shaking in the frame while the user's hand moved. And there's no disclaimer that this is a screen simulation. They also try to show this quick zooming motion onto the bird's subject. But when you observe the video frame by frame, you'll notice a cut before the bird shows up. It's nearly two videos spliced together. And if I had to guess, none of these videos were even shot with the Starscope product. My BS detector is still going off. But it doesn't stop there. Now, let's take a look at their website. Their website claims Starscope has zooming capabilities, not just a single fixed magnification. But the problem with that is, you never see a zooming mechanism on the Starscope. What I mean by that is, take a look at a traditional camera lens. When you zoom, you may see something like this happen. The higher the focal length, the more zoomed in you are, and it's usually done by twisting a ring. But on the Starscope, we don't see any of those types of mechanisms taking place. Where are they? No idea. But you see plenty of footage of people zooming in on a subject. It's probably going to BS. My theory is they're just using camera lenses on real cameras, and they're passing off that footage as Starscope footage. Also, I've discovered articles, which in this case are just ads in disguise, that show more comparisons between a Starscope and a $5,000 DSLR. Oddly enough, the article is inconsistent with the product name, sometimes calling it Cosmic Scope. Here's another comparison they show, which makes absolutely no sense. For starters, the photos aren't even taken in the same location or at the same time of day. But let's make pretend that they were taken at the same location and at the same time of day. What are they trying to prove with this comparison? That the Starscope can produce better dynamic range and you can see details in the sky better than the DSLR? Wrong! Lenses have little to no effect on dynamic range. Dynamic range is affected by the camera sensor, not the optics. And since the Starscope isn't actually a camera and it doesn't have a camera sensor, why are they even bothering with this comparison? Makes no sense. They're just trying to fool you. Their site is also riddled with fake scarcity discounts which never actually expire, and there's reviews too, which are likely fake because the website tries to format them into a live-looking Facebook-style interface, but none of the like or reply buttons actually do anything. And the dates never change. But oddly enough, the profile pictures change, and the new people look nothing like the previous people, yet their names stay the same. Why even do that? I have no freaking idea. They just made it 10 times more obvious that this stuff is fake. Now, before we continue, I do want to say I am making hypotheses here. When I'm critiquing the hardware features and all the optical functionality of this product, it's all hypotheses because I haven't tested the physical product yet. But I still think I can make some educated guesses here. So, with all of this evidence, it's pretty clear that this stuff is shady and scammy, right? But now, I need to put my hypotheses to the test and actually try the product. So, I went ahead and bought one. At least I thought I did. The purchase process was riddled with fake countdown timers and annoying post-transaction upsells. But that crap aside, I was actually able to use Apple Pay and complete my purchase. And I was given a confirmation number. But the weird thing is, I never received an email receipt. So I waited for a day and nothing. Still nothing. Now, I'll be honest, I kind of got distracted because I was working on other episodes and I kind of forgot to check for confirmation. But then I remembered, like maybe, I don't know, 2 weeks later or so, and still nothing. So I gave them a call. To their credit, the customer support was super friendly. But what I found out was the transaction was aborted.
Here in our system, it shows that the transaction for the order and also for the payment has been aborted and canceled.
That has never happened on the show before. So at this point, I'm super confused because the website said the order was received, and I even got a confirmation number, but sure enough, I checked my bank and no transaction took place. But the company still had my phone, email, and name. So some information went through. So to make up the time, I decided to buy the product elsewhere. But sadly, loyal viewers, I regret to inform you that this product is not available on Amazon. Oh wait, here it is. Well, let's go ahead and order it with Amazon's new portal shipping, and it should be here soon. Wow, that's convenient. Full disclosure, guys, I accidentally bought the first generation Starscope, not the G2, which I guess apparently is the one that's on the website when you actually go to purchase it, but there's 3 different models in the video, so it's really confusing. Either way, the design looks the same. The only difference I could find is that the G2 has 16x magnification and this has 10, so sorry, slight difference, but I think given the circumstances, we can ignore that little variable. Okay, now let's go ahead and test this bad boy out. Okay, so my tests are done, and I value your time, so I'm not going to show you every single thing that I did, but in short, all of my predictions were correct. The first gen Starscope does, in fact, have 10x magnification, so that feature is properly advertised in certain parts of their marketing material. But remember, this is not a full-frame lens. You will constantly experience this iris effect in all of your photos. But to be fair, they demonstrate that in their ads, so at least they're being honest here. But regardless, you won't be able to achieve the same optical quality that a true photography lens can reproduce. You also can't magically stabilize your footage, and there's no variable zoom capabilities. Another inconsistency I noticed is my particular Starscope says 40x60. The Starscope website says 10x50, and the Amazon listing also says 10x50. So I'm not sure why these numbers don't line up, but from the measurements I looked at, this is definitely not 40x magnification. It only looks like 10, and the diameter of the objective lens is not 60 millimeters. So if you want to get one, go for it. Just make sure your expectations are in sync, because the big problem with this whole thing is not the product itself, it's the false advertising. Starscope oversells this thing. They make false promises, they push false advertising, they post fake reviews, and they value this thing at a ridiculous $80. But on the bright side, thanks to this, I can now see bullshit from 3 miles away. As always, feel free to subscribe to the Computer Clan YouTube channel here so you can catch more of our tech episodes in the future. We got some cool stuff planned. And if you want to help fund the future of the Computer Clan and help me buy more knockoff crappy products to look into, feel free to pledge to my Patreon, and in exchange, you will also get some awesome perks when you do so. Thanks in advance for your support. And hey, if you like this episode, you know what to do. Thanks for sticking with me, catch the crazy, and pass it on. These scammy chargers are back. Well, really, they never left. It's been a couple of years since I've talked about these, and there's been some deceitful developments, to say the least. Oh, and the scammers value this thing at $76? God, please help us. Hey everyone, how are you all doing? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Crazy Ken, and this is the Quick Charge Pro, which is built with groundbreaking nanotechnology, and it can charge any battery to full in minutes. Clearly, the scammers were not satisfied with the last 2 products I debunked in this category, so they've come back for more, which means I have more BS to dissect. So, let's start with the video ads. I found 2 delicious YouTube ads for this brand. The first one starts by showing a phone charging from 0 to 100% in only 4 seconds. Then the ad flashes many tech-related images in rapid succession, and then it says there's a new groundbreaking discovery that's reversing planned obsolescence. Oh gosh, not the planned obsolescence argument again. Scammers, You gotta get a new shtick. And smartphone companies are trying to make this discovery illegal, oh no. And rather than spending $1,200 to $1,800 on a smartphone every year, this $37 device will turn your smartphone into a lightning-fast handheld supercomputer that will last a lifetime. And this is all thanks to the gadget's AI technology, which will override your phone's operating system. Slow loading times will completely disappear. This new charger is equipped with revolutionary QC 3.0 technology, which is 4 times faster than traditional chargers, and it can charge a depleted battery from 1 to 100% in 11 minutes. And it allows your phone's battery to last up to 56 hours. But how? It's simple, Fred. The charger distributes power-hungry apps into a more energy-efficient flow.
Well, I don't know about that charger, but let's see, blah 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 blah. Okay, it only takes 25 minutes to charge my phone from 0 to 100% within 15 to 20 minutes. 25 at least. That's 100% from 0% charging speed within 25 minutes. I mean, come on.
Okay, just a quick side note. If you need to milk your phone's battery, you can just turn on the
And my battery in my phone is guaranteed to last 50 years. And if it doesn't, it is fully replaceable and fully refundable.
low power mode or whatever it's called on your phone, and that'll work just fine. You don't need some magical third-party accessory. We continue to see this woman narrating on screen, which kind of surprises me because many.
I got this back in 2014. So it's not nearly been 50 years.
The ads I've investigated are typically just voiceover narration, and she goes on to say her and her team developed this product.
I will probably be dead way before the battery in this phone expires.
She used to work at the biggest smartphone company in the world when this planned obsolescence scandal happened, and she hints at Apple. And she claims phone software updates are actually downgrades which can destroy your phone, so you're enticed to buy a new one. She was tired of this, so she worked with some colleagues to build a solution which removes planned obsolescence from a phone using smart defrag technology. Just plug it in and you're done. But since smartphone companies are lobbying against them, they're not sure if they'll be able to restock the device anytime soon. You know, I just realized they never once directly say the brand name of this product, which is probably not the smartest idea. But anyway, we'll dissect this ad more soon.
JS Rocker. Damn, this guy's still on here mumbling to two people. JS Rocker. Damn, this guy's still on here mumbling to two people.
The second ad starts with a shot of an iPhone being
No, I'm not.
USB power adapters. They call this a controversial device, but they never show it.
I just do this to get the information out there.
100% in record time and reverse the age of your phone's battery, restoring it to mint working condition in 3
And you need
weeks.
to straighten up and fly right or get out.
Product cycle that slows down devices. It's called programmed extinction. Programmed extinction? Is that even a thing? The ad claims this extinction forces.
I mean, I don't give a damn what you say. You can say whatever the hell you want to say on my channel. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, First Amendment. But listen here. The first hint of negativity on my channel, I will boot your ass. Because I don't need or want negativity in my life. So I'll just boot your ass.
Charges your phone much faster than a regular charger.
But other than negativity, you can say or do whatever the hell you want. You know, freedom of speech, First Amendment, Constitution.
And they proceed to show 4 phones charging 100% in about 4 minutes, all from the same charging device. This fast charging tech is possible thanks to more than a year of research led by Professor Steve Gibbs. Steve diagnosed a major fault in traditional chargers. They use metal wires to pass through electricity to your phone, and the problem with metal wires is they degrade, and this causes damage to the
And it's not my problem if you can't understand my language. That's your problem.
phone's battery. So the MIT engineers began to manufacture a charger that uses carbon nanotubes. Then we meet this gentleman, who I guess is supposed to be Steve, but with different glasses, I guess. He explains the nanoscale wires, claiming his team is able to achieve much smaller power consumption compared to metal wires.
Nanotubes are hyper powerful and can charge any device to full battery within minutes.
Then the MIT team released a test batch of 200 Quick Charge Pros. Hey, thanks for finally saying the name of the product. The results were staggering.
My phone charged in just 15 minutes, from 0 to 100.
I love new tech so much that I actually make a living reviewing products.
After the success, MIT ramped up production, but oh no, big tech got wind of it. Multiple big tech companies pooled their resources and attempted to patent the carbon nanotubes so they could stop the Quick Charge Pro manufacturing. And the case is still ongoing. Manufacturing is halted and might not continue. So tap the link below to get your own charger. There are many false claims.
JS Rocker. Oh darn. JS Rocker. Oh darn.
If you charge the battery this fast, it would get extremely hot, probably start on fire. So
Not
this
my
is fake.
problem.
In fact, all these fast charging batteries.
Cause like I said,
Hey, I can draw battery
like I
fast
said,
too. Give it a little
you can
animation,
say whatever
play
you
back
want to
your
say
phone as a video
on my
file,
channel.
look like it's charging.
You
Yeah,
can call,
great. Adobe After Effects and
you can call me douchebag. You can call me a motherfucker. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. Because I ain't, well, not a douchebag, but I am a motherfucker because I have fucked many mothers in my time. So yeah, I'm a motherfucker. Yeah. So you can say whatever the fuck you want to say. But, like I said, if I sense or get the sense of any negativity on my channel from anybody, I will boot you. I will kick your ass off my channel, and that'll be it. I won't say a damn word or just kick your ass off. Because I don't need or want negativity in my life. I am at one with oneself. I know that may sound crazy or not, but yeah, no negativity. Fuck that shit, man.
Apple Motion are wonderful tools.
JS Rocker. If you boot me, you won't have anyone watching. JS Rocker. If you boot me, you won't have anyone watching.
Well, if you feel that way, get the fuck out of here. If you actually believe that, get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck.
Anyway, another big issue is the performance claims. The scammers say Quick Charge Pro can make your phone run faster. This is incredibly unlikely because phone operating systems have protective measures built in that prevent USB and other accessories from just hijacking the operating system. You can still probably achieve it if you jailbreak your iPhone or root your Android device, but generally speaking, these types of protections would make an accessory like this impossible. And the device would still need to be programmed in a specific way to communicate with your phone properly. Later, I will open up one of these Quick Charge Pros to see if there's any hardware inside that would be capable of this. But the scammers go further, and again.
And the reason I don't give a fuck is because I have an Xbox Series X. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
And they use an exhausted argument that many chargers have used in the past. planned obsolescence. Specifically, these scammers, for years, have been weaponizing the class action lawsuits against Apple that occurred during the Batterygate controversy. Here's what actually happened. Batterygate started in 2017, or earlier depending on how you interpret its origins. On January 23rd, 2017, Apple issued an iOS 10.2.1 software update which optimized iPhone power management to prevent the phone from drawing too much power from a degraded battery, which would result in abrupt shutdowns. But this attempted fix resulted in unwanted performance flaws, and Apple wasn't transparent about what was happening. They fixed these issues with iOS 11.3, which offered new battery management features and transparency, but users were already taking legal action against the big fruit. Years later, as of January 2024, iPhone owners who were part of the 2020 class action lawsuit finally started receiving payments. The lawsuit applied to select iPhones affected at the time, and this has not been a widespread issue since. So for all intents and purposes, this issue has been solved. But the scammers don't care. They just hope that you don't know any better.
I mean,
The ad says the charge.
that's why I'm so goddamn sick and tired about hearing on the news all this bullshit about people. Oh, my daughter committed suicide because she was bullied online. She kept getting all these text messages making her feel victimized, bullied. So my daughter killed herself. I say, fuck you and fuck your daughter and fuck your situation. Cause if your daughter was fucking bullied through text messages, Gmails, chat rooms, what the fuck ever, that's her own fucking fault. And she did it herself. She allowed it to happen because god damn it, you can block Gmails, you can block emails, you can block text messages, and you can block chat in chat rooms. You can block chats, text messages, emails, and Gmails. And if the person comes back with another Gmail address or email address or chat screen name or text message screen name, if they come back and they start bullying you again online, block them again. So your daughter killing herself because she was bullied online or through text messages is fucking ludicrous because goddamn it, all she had to do was block. That's all she had to do. So fuck you and fuck your situation and fuck your dead daughter. Your dead daughter killed herself because she was too fucking asinine to know how to block people through text message and Gmail and internet chat. So yeah, don't come crying to me or everybody else about your daughter being stupid, you know? But it's like every other month you hear about shit like this. Oh, they killed themselves because they were too stupid to know how to block someone on the internet. You know, I mean, come on, that's all you gotta do.
JS Rocker. Damn bro, that's a messed up thing to say. JS Rocker. Damn bro, that's a messed up thing to say.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. Example. Here's the thing. If I was to come to your chat room or get a hold of your phone number or your Gmail or email, what the fuck ever you have, and I kept sending you messages and shit, spamming you and bullying you and harassing you and what the fuck ever, would you kill yourself over it? Or would you just simply hit a button blocking my ass from doing it? If you kill yourself over it, that makes you dumb. If you block me because of it, that's the thing to do. So no, it's not a fucked up, messed up thing to say. Because it's true. It's true. All you have to do is block them. I block people. I get spam. I get spam Gmail from asinine companies all the time. And what do? I block them. And guess what? When I block them, they never respond ever again. Because it goes straight into my spam folder and I never have to look at them, never have to see them. I don't know anything about them because they go straight into my spam. And every other day, I check my spam trash basket and I empty it. I don't even look at them. I just empty the fucking spam trash waste basket, and that's it. And then when I empty it, it goes into my regular trash basket. So I go to my regular trash basket and I empty it, and there you go. That's and anybody can do it. Anybody can do that. But do you see me hanging from that fucking ceiling fan picture? Fuck no. Killing yourself because someone is bullying you online or whatever. You have options. But killing yourself over it is just fucked up. So when I hear that on the news, I just fucking turn it off because it's bullshit, you know.
Is equipped with revolutionary
Because you always have
3.0
options.
technology. Okay,
So
QC stands for quick charge. It is a fast charge.
So technically and politically correctly, no, it's not a messed up thing to say. And if you believe it is, well then, you're the one with the problem, not me.
Standard developed by Qualcomm, and version 3 came out in 2015, over 8 years ago. So that's not a great selling point for a new charger. In addition, QC 3.0 is only compatible with select Qualcomm Snapdragon processors, which means it does not work with iPhone, despite the scammer showing multiple iPhones throughout the ads. Now let's talk price. The ad says Quick Charge Pro is $37, and they justify this price by saying, hey, if you buy this, you don't have to spend $1,200 to $1,800 on a new phone every year. This is very misleading because most people don't spend that much on a phone anyway. According to CellCell, the global average replacement cycle for a smartphone is 3.6 years. And I also ran my own poll on Twitter and YouTube. Out of 995 Twitter votes, 39% of people said they upgrade every 4+ years. And on YouTube, out of approximately 9,300 votes, 48% voted every 4+ years too. So it's very unlikely.
I've not upgraded. I've not had to replace my phone since 2014.
Spending a ton of money. And according to a U.S. Phone Arena survey, only 17% of the respondents
and my phone still works like brand new.
So I think it's pretty clear this ad likes to exaggerate and bend the truth too much. Yeah.
But then again, it's not the only phone I own.
Metaphorically and physically, I'd like to recommend actual good chargers from Ugreen. The Ugreen Nexode Pro 65 watt mini packs 65 watts and 3 ports into a tiny design. It features 2 USB-C ports and 1 USB-A. And just to emphasize how small this thing really is, here is my 67 watt Apple power adapter. You can see it's a fraction of the size, yet it offers similar wattage and triple the ports. You can charge an M2 MacBook Air from 0 to 51% in just 30 minutes, or you can charge 3 devices at once. And it's all thanks to the Air Pyrotech and GaN Infinity chips. But I'm not done yet. Ugreen also makes docks. The Ugreen Revo Dock Pro plugs into a single USB-C port on your laptop, and suddenly you transform that port into a 10-in-1 docking station with 2 HDMI ports with multi-monitor support, up to 4K at 60 Hz for 2 displays, and up to 8K at 30 Hz for 1. A 5 gigabit per second USB-C port, a USB-A 3.0 port, 2 USB-A 2.0 ports, and gigabit Ethernet. You also get 2 card readers for full-size and micro SD, and you can charge your laptop with the USB-C pass-through up to 85 watts. So go ahead and get your own Ugreen chargers and docks with the link in the description below. So now back to the bad chargers. I tell you, I can nitpick this Quick Charge Pro ad all freaking day, but there's bigger fish to fry. So let's take a look at ad number 2. The second ad talks more specifically about reversing the age of your phone's battery, restoring it to mint working condition in 3 weeks. This is impossible because the damage a battery naturally receives through aging is chemical related. Let's face it, batteries are time bombs. Okay, not that violent, but batteries undergo recurring electrochemical reactions. These oxidation reduction reactions, or redox reactions, occur every time electrons flow from the battery's anode to the cathode, which discharges the battery and powers your device, and vice versa while charging. So it's only a
Yeah, but my battery and my phone is guaranteed for 50 years.
matter of time before the anode wears out and batteries lose capacity, or even worse, get puffy from gas buildup. Gotta love those spicy pillows. And that's just from regular use. If your phone battery experiences excess heat, or it gets punctured, or there's an impact, that could shorten the life even further. And no phone charger is going to magically fix these issues. And really, phones are smart enough to optimize your charging to maintain the battery health. You don't need an external accessory to achieve that. For example, your phone's hardware and software will allow your battery to charge at a higher wattage until a certain point. But then it will slow the charging with a lower wattage for the remaining percentage. Moving on, in this scene, the ad shows 4 phones charging really fast off one charger. Let's ignore the overheating problem for now. This is still impossible because the Quick Charge Pro, directly on the product, says it will only output at 18 watts maximum. That's the Quick Charge 3.0 limit. Now let's talk about MIT and this Steve guy. No, not that Steve guy. This Steve guy. First off, you spelled professor wrong in the lower third, yet you spelled it correctly in the big-in captions. You can borrow my Franklin spelling ace if you need it. So Steve and the narrator talk about carbon nanotubes. These are a real thing, and they can be good conductors, but they're not used in all electrical applications. But Steve and the narrator insist carbon nanotubes are in the Quick Charge Pro. But the way they word it, it makes it seem like they're talking about the cables that connect your phone to the charging grid. I think there might be a language barrier issue here or something, but when the advertisers say wires, I think they actually mean the traces on the physical printed circuit board, but those are typically copper. We'll find out soon. And even if this thing had nanotubes in it and everything was more efficient, it doesn't matter a ton to the phone because QC 3.0's 18 watt limit isn't going to magically increase just because the brick itself is a little more efficient. Also, I had Pixel Peeper 3000 do a quick analysis of the scene, and bingo! Steve Gibbs is from the stock footage on iStock, and apparently it was filmed in Russia. So what's up with this patent claim, where big tech companies pool their resources to try and stop the Quick Charge Pro from being manufactured? Well, the narrator said this case is still ongoing. I usually keep a pretty good finger on the tech community pulse, and I've never heard of this story. But certainly there's got to be a news article about it, right? I googled a few keywords and found absolutely nothing that backed this claim up. These fake backstories are being used to invoke scarcity, threatening the buyer with a low supply. The advertisers are forcing a sense of urgency upon the buyer so they can make that sale really quickly. However, in reality, there is no supply shortage. Ultimately, my BS meter is like fully overloaded with these ads. But as you can maybe guess, this scam doesn't end with the video ads. So let's take a look at their web presence. Oh, a Cloudflare screen. Oh joy. It looks like the host is down. I don't know why this happened because when I started investigating these guys 2 months ago, this landing page wasn't active, but thankfully, I've cracked the code on time travel, so we can take a look at this website. Hey, old man Ken, you almost ready?
Almost. I just have to attach the power to the time machine.
Plug it in, man. Let's get going.
Yeah, I don't really think this extension cord is rated for 13 gigawatts.
Just do it.
Okay. Oh gosh.
That didn't sound good. I'm sure he'll be okay. He's got a pacemaker. All right, let's time travel. I can feel it. I can feel it coursing through my veins. Let's do this. I think it works. Not much changes here. I think we're 2 months in the past. Yeah, we're 2 months in the past. This is the landing page from the link in the first YouTube ads description. Thanks to space time travel, we can now see it. The top of the page says 0 to 100% in only 15 minutes. The website reiterates on some of the ad claims. For example, this device can reverse the aging process of your battery and heal past damage. The fake reviews back this up. Gary Woodward, if that's your real name, says the Quick Charge Pro reversed the battery damage on his iPhone 11, and it charges 100% in 15 minutes. Gerardo says, when my watch or phone starts getting low, I just plug it into my computer. Wait, you plug it into your computer? Why not the Quick Charge Pro? What are you reviewing here? So that was the landing page I discovered. Pretty simple. But despite it being offline today, the main QuickChargePro.com homepage is still accessible. The homepage brings you to a country selector, and when you choose United States, it brings you to an entirely new domain, QuickChargePro.io, and the site looks very razory. Weirdly enough, if you choose another country like Venezuela or France, it brings you to a completely different looking webpage. And this is where things get interesting. Suddenly, the bogus claims are gone. Well, mostly. They still call it a revolutionary charger, which it isn't. But the 15-minute charging claims and battery healing claims are gone. Instead, the charge time claim is now 70% in 35 minutes. So it seems like whatever team is behind this decided to be more honest and they corrected their mistakes. And I applaud you for that. Thank you for the honesty. I still think it's crazy you're selling this thing for $38. I mean, I'm okay with it for a good charger, but you know, it has to be good. This thing looks really cheap, but hey, prove me wrong. Only one way to find out. I went ahead and bought one. I time traveled back to the original landing page and clicked the 50% off button. The purchase page sneakily defaults your selection to 2 units, valued at a ridiculous $152. In my case, I actually want to get 2 because I have a feeling one of them might get a little bit damaged when I try to open it up and see what magic is on the inside. I pressed the complete button, and ding, the purchase was complete. Oh look, a post-transaction upsell, and another, and another. Wait! This might be the special cable we need. You know, with the carbon nanotubes? Oh, no, it's just copper. So while we wait for the Quick Charge Pros to arrive, we need to talk about something important that has come up multiple times in my past skin busting investigations. It's called dropshipping. In a nutshell, a fulfillment method in which a brand ships an item directly from the supplier to the customer. Typically, this brand is operated by a single person, and these individuals never keep inventory of the product. So if this business owner slash operator isn't keeping inventory or physically shipping the product, what is their actual job? Their job is to provide a storefront and marketing campaign to get people through the sales funnel and buy a product. This is a legit selling method, and there are people who play fair. The barrier to entry is really low, which can overall be good, but it allows bad players to enter the ring. And unfortunately, this leads to scams and counterfeit goods. AirPods are big. On the plus side, dropshipping can be good for people who want to run a business because it's got more overhead than a full-blown operation. But there's downsides to this. Shipping times can be long. The individual or business behind the dropshipping operation can't perform quality control because they never actually see the product, which means they also can't provide proper customer service in some cases. And the products are usually very generic because they typically can't be customized. However, some suppliers offer custom packaging at additional costs. So that's dropshipping. And this whole Quick Charge Pro operation just reeks of it. But good news, the chargers are here now. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. It feels super cheap. It looks really cheap too. And there's already a bunch of scratches on it. Like I haven't even done anything with it and it already looks scratched to heck. Back here, BK, not Burger King, unfortunately. Model BK376. That must be the actual name of this Power Quick Charge 3.0. Even though the ads call it Quick Charge Pro, it looks like the real name is Power Quick Charge. And this is a drop shipping product, a generic product that anyone can buy and resell under whatever name they choose. And if we look this model up, we can find out that it is available on Amazon for $9 from the generic store. That sounds lovely. Yeah, definitely not worth $76. And this Newegg listing shows a total output of 48 watts. So that's good to know. Now we have a number. And the side of this thing says 5 volts, 3 amps max, which means, not counting the quick charge ports, a port can deliver 15 watts of power. The charger also supports 9 volt 2 amp and 12 volt 1.5 amp, which both equal 18 watts, which is the max wattage of quick charge 3.0. So there is no way you're charging a phone to 100% in 11 or 15 minutes. 15 to 18 watts is just not enough power. And even if this charger did have enough power to deliver to your phone would still have to be able to accept it. Different phones have different limits. And really, USB-A, which is what these ports are, they are not made to deliver a lot of power. USB-C, on the other hand, is, particularly USB-C PD, power delivery, which can deliver up to 240 watts of power. But this magical charger isn't using that standard, nor anything similar to it. But we're merely looking at the outside. Now let's take a look at the inside to see what's truly going on. And since these products aren't being manufactured anymore, so I'm told, we can't risk damaging this unit, so we need to approach this disassembly with delicacy and grace. Yeah, this thing was completely sealed in plastic, so I had to take a more smashy approach. This is why I bought two, right? So, yeah, there's the inside. We see various components, different types of capacitors and resistors, and some LEDs. We got
just like the story with Romeo and Juliet. Supposedly in the story, they both committed suicide because the families of both parties didn't want them associating. Mom, Dad, yes, Romeo, fuck you, kiss my ass. Mom, Dad, yes, Juliet, go get fucked. We'll get married, we're gonna fuck, we're gonna have 6.2 kids. Fuck you. But no. Instead of telling their parents to go fuck themselves, what they do according to history? They kill themselves. What the fuck? No. That's just so fucking asinine. And women saying, oh, we weren't allowed to do this or do that back in my day. Fuck, you weren't. It's nobody's fault except your own. It's called taking a stand. Standing up for yourself. God damn. How fucking dumb are you?
We also have an inductor and a transformer. These are typical components you need in a phone charger or a power adapter, depending on who you're talking to. Nothing special so far. There's additional integrated circuits on this board. And between Quantum Infinity, Brainless Creations, and we were able to identify these components, like this bridge rectifier and this DC-DC converter. But no matter how hard we searched, we couldn't find a component indicative of any sort of magical operating system overriding or battery healing capabilities. To hypothetically achieve this, you would need an SoC or some sort of processor to do the computational tasks. But those chips require many more pins, or balls, if you're using a VGA, than what we see on this board. So it's highly improbable this board is doing any sort of magical smartphone overriding. And I think it's just cool to now finally see that with our own eyes. But we like to have fun here, right? So let's have some fun and pretend this thing can actually communicate with your phone and attempt to heal the battery. Will you actually notice battery health improvements? No, because again, battery aging is a chemical problem and no phone charger is ever going to solve that. But I know of one thing we can solve: carbon nanotube history. So let's take a look at those traces. Yep, just look at that color. That is copper. What a crock of shit. So now that we have a comprehensive understanding of how the scam is structured, and we know what's inside the Quick Charge Pro, there's only one thing left to do. Let's take it for a test fit. Since the ad shows a lot of older iPhones, I'm going to use my iPhone 7 for part of the testing. I will also use my HTC 10 because this phone is Quick Charge 3.0 compatible. I plugged in my iPhone 7 and started the stopwatch. As I approached the 15-minute mark, I was drawing at 7.5 watts, which checks out because iPhone 7 can accept about 10 watts max. The test has been going for 15 minutes, so this is the big moment of truth. What is the percentage at?
Who gives a fuck? If a person is not smart enough to see that the product is a scam, that's on them.
Have you ever repeatedly punched yourself in the genitals on public transportation? I have. It was late December and I was feeling Christmas horny. You know Christmas horny?
Are you guys like doing this on purpose? Like, it just seems like you're putting up a bunch of like fake stuff on your website. Like, Hey guys, how are you all doing? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Crazy Ken, and one thing I'd love to do on this tech channel is debunk knockoff tech and tech scams. And today is no different. I have received many requests to look into the cardio smartwatch. And this is going to be a good one. Pro tip, guys, in case the marketing department is watching. If you're going to market this as a health gadget, I highly recommend not putting the word die in your name. So how good is this thing? Well, I'll take a look at that soon, but I usually like to dive into the company a bit more before we dive into the product itself, because I've seen some fishy stuff going on. So, if you're ready, and I know you are, let's dive in. I was sent the screenshot of a cardio app, and wow, would you look at that? The watches they're using as their own product look exactly like Apple Watches. And that's because they are Apple Watches. The biggest giveaway is the edge-to-edge display. If you look carefully, you'll see the display is rounded on the corners. Cheap products do not do that. They're just traditional square displays. They're not rounded in the corners. So that's the biggest giveaway you can see there. I also love how they say we invest in high-quality components, not fancy ads. Well, really, guess what? You probably save a lot of money on your advertising because you're just using Apple stuff. You're using their actual product, and you're just stealing a bunch of other screenshots from them. Why? So sometimes when you look at these screenshots of Apple software, they'll manipulate them a little bit so the colors look different, even on the box.
When you say you were in the video, you were a walker.
Oh, that's
what you were.
Does that mean
You were an extra.
Why
in a
not
video.
Well, you got to say that. Why you got very feel good
He was an extra. He was an extra, and all of a sudden he's lead man.
This is Star Talk Special Edition. Of course, I've got Gary Riley, Gary.
Hey.
And of course, Chuck Nice, more Chuck Nice.
That's right.
Well, over the years, anytime I'm at any special sort of celebrity type event, it could be a red carpet of any kind, for a premiere of a film, and all the actors show up. If I'm there, I pull out my smartphone and I acquire questions from celebrities on the spot, on the assumption that we all have questions about the universe that just linger within you. And how often are you in company of an astrophysicist? There's only about 8,000 of us in the world, and there's about 8 billion people. So if you ever find yourself in the same room with an astrophysicist, kidnap them. That's the time. They're very valuable. Yeah, great ransom. That's the time to ask your questions. So Gary, you accumulated them. They've been on the shelf for a long time.
They have for a while, but got round to curating them. And having captured their cosmic curiosity, well, let's find out what it is they want to know.
I'm curious about.
Yeah, first one. I'll start with that, and it's Sway in the Mornings.
Sway in the Morning?
Yeah.
Right, for Sirius XM.
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual show. It's not like direction. Right. It could be. So Sway in the Morning, but it's not direction.
There's a deep question about us as a species.
Yes.
So let's hear it, and let's find out what you think to his question.
Okay.
Neil, let me ask you a question. I know mankind are meant to be nomadic in its original form. And mankind has begun to set on this planet Earth tens of thousands of years ago. When we talk about viruses, am I inaccurate if I was to say that mankind is a virus to this planet Earth because of the damage and destruction that is done to not only the Earth, but other people? Are we just ants with consciousness? Can you answer that for me, Neil?
What the hell is Sway talking about? I mean, that question was all over the place. He started off with nomadic human beings, which really, I mean, he said tens of thousands of, but yeah, that's about right. It's about pre-agriculture. He's correct there. Right. He's right. He's right about that. I'm gonna give him that. I'm gonna give him that. Start with credit, right? But then from there, he went from being nomadic to viruses. Are we a virus? I'm trying to figure out, like, is that because viruses spread and we came out of the Serengeti and spread all over the earth? Is that, I guess that's what, you know.
You want to hear something really fucked up that really did happen? Kenneth, and Gordon Lee, Carl, and Earl are identical twin brothers. Identical. There's no doubt about that. Well, not Carl, because Carl blew his brains out. So, and not Kenneth, because Kenneth fucked himself over. Kenneth was always known for fucking other people over, but back in 2020, Kenneth fucked himself over. Kenneth was living in the house that belonged to Marty because Marty received all the property, all the millions, and everything in Ward's will after she killed him. After she killed Ward and got away with it scot-free, everything in his will was left to her. Now, she didn't physically kill him by shooting him or stabbing him, but he was in his mid-70s. She was in her mid-30s. And she fucking sexualized him so goddamn much, he had a massive heart attack and died. So she caused his death, but because it was real natural causes. Fuck her, you know. Anyways, so Kenneth, 2020, living in the house that was left to Marty, and Kenneth had a job at this. Kenneth had a job at this restaurant. Now, at this restaurant, he was a chef. He was one of the cooks at this restaurant. And the restaurant was 40 miles from the house. Cause I believe he was living like out in Inverness or whatnot there in Florida, and it was 40 miles from his job at the restaurant. So, and his car was crapped out. It was fucked. So he couldn't drive it. So he bought a bicycle. He bought a bicycle from a third party. Real smart thing to do. Buying a cheap bike from a third party. Oh, and you wanna know what else he did that was very smart? He bought a brand new 80 plus cc engine, bicycle engine, brand new off Amazon, and put on his bicycle. Now in Florida at the time, I don't know about now, but in Florida at the time, having a motor on your bicycle was completely legal to drive 60, 70 miles per hour because it was considered a electric vehicle. A electric motor vehicle like a moped or whatnot. And so therefore it was at the time, I don't know about now, but therefore it was completely legal to drive. You didn't need license, you didn't need insurance, you didn't need photo ID, you didn't need nothing because it was completely legal. So he puts this 80 plus cc motor on his bicycle, and the first three times or whatnot that he drove it back and forth to work and back home and everything, it was fine. It was fine. Everything was fine. But you have to remember, he's still being so asinine about it because he still hasn't got the bike checked out to see if it was sturdy enough or good enough or whatnot to handle the power of the motor. Because it was 80 plus cc motor for a bicycle, and it could shoot him up to 65 to 70 miles per hour on a bicycle that he didn't have inspected, and he should have had it inspected to make sure it was sturdy enough and strong enough to handle the motor, because the bicycle was from a third-hand party. Yeah. So, he's driving down the interstate, 70 miles per hour down the interstate, going to work, and, yeah, the chain on the bicycle broke. The chain on the bicycle broke. And basically at the same time that the chain on the bicycle broke, the front brakes on the bicycle locked up, flipping him head over heels, face first down the fucking interstate. He lands on his face, and he slid a fucking mile down the interstate blacktop on his face, So yeah, he erased his face and part of his forehead. Thank goddess the EMTs and police and everybody involved were able to get there lickety split in time, and they rushed him to the hospital as top priority. No one in the family knew about this. No one in the family knew that any of this was going on. Yeah. And because it was completely legal to drive a electric vehicle on the interstate with no license, no photo ID, or no insurance or whatever, Kenneth didn't have any of that on him. He never carried it on him because it was completely to drive an electric vehicle without it. All he had on him was his health insurance card. But that's not a picture ID. No one there at the hospital knew what it looked like. So they rushed him in the emergency room, lickety split, passing room says, zippity doo dah, zippity or superchiropractic expialidocious, and they did a professional, excellent job, the best that money could buy. But the only problem is, now, he doesn't look like us. Didn't look like us at all. But we still love him, and he's still our brother. But he's kind of down on himself because of it. Oh, and Carl killed himself. I believe it was back in 2012 or whatever. My parents went to his house because they weren't able to get a hold of him. They knocked, nothing. So they used the spare key he gave them, and they went in there, and Carl was sitting in the seat with I think it was a Glock 45 or something like that. The gun that Dirty Harry would use in that Clint Eastwood would use in his movie Dirty Harry. I think I'm not sure, but maybe in a 45. I'm not sure. My mother and father walked in their living room, found Carl sitting in the chair, gun clutched, death clutched into his hand, and part of his head and brain splattered on the back of the wall. I was 12. I was 12 years old when my brother Carl, my brother Carl was also 12, but that's beside the point. He got involved with crime and criminal activity, and he got involved with drugs. I couldn't do nothing about it because I was just 12 myself, you know, and no one else was trying to help him. Eventually, time moved on and whatnot, and it got worse. He got more into drugs, he got deeper into drugs, and got deeper into crime, and eventually ended his ass. They put his ass away, and he went to prison eventually. And yeah, and then around 2012, the end of 2011, whatever, 2012, whatever, he got out of prison. And he was still fucked up in the head because of the drugs. 3 months after he got out of prison, and the coroners and the FBI and all that shit, they all came up with what happened. He came home. He grabbed the 45. He grabbed the 45 off the fireplace mantle. Sat down in his lazy boy. Put the barrel of the gun in his mouth and blew his fucking brains out. So yeah, when it comes to drugs and whatnot, I'm totally against that. You know, so yeah. Cause the drugs isn't what killed him, but technically, the drugs did cause him to have a fucked up mind. It fucked up his mind big time, and that's why he killed himself. So now there's just Gordon, Lee, and Earl that are identical twin brothers. Yeah. Because Kenneth and Carl, well, Carl's dead, but Kenneth has a whole new face, so yeah. And the reason it doesn't bother me telling you about that story is because I wasn't around. I was nowhere around. But my mother filled me in on all the details. You know. So see, talking about that isn't as emotional to me as talking about what happened to Amy. Because what happened to Amy took place like 10, 15 feet in front of me. I saw the whole thing. So that's why I find talking about Amy very difficult, because Amy was my love. We had so many plans, everything. And I'll never forget my dad. Because if it wasn't for my dad, not putting gas in the goddamn truck, I couldn't went and picked her up and prevented this whole bullshit from happening. But no, Dad was too goddamn lazy after getting off work to put gas in the goddamn truck. By the way, it was a goddamn job that was no more than a fucking hobby for him, because we don't need money. We don't need money. We don't need jobs to make money. We have money. Well, my mom and dad, they don't have no money no more because they're dead. And I couldn't give a fuck less, you know? I mean, my dad was a no good motherfucking drunk. And my mom, well, I believed at one point in time, I probably loved my mom. I really can't say. Because after the explosion, my cerebral cortex, cerebella, frontal lobe, and temporal lobe were severely damaged. And those are the areas of the brain that hold memories, current memories, and whatnot. And so yeah, I don't remember my family as a current. I do have memories of the past, but you know. But that's the story of why my twin brother Kenneth, my identical twin brother Kenneth, is no longer an identical twin brother. Yeah. But you know what? I mean, I do feel bad for him, you know. But you know what? I don't feel bad. Because it's his own goddamn fault. Because he's always fucking, he's always been known for fucking other people over. Yeah. So this time he fucked himself over by not getting a goddamn bicycle inspected to make sure it was in good enough shape to handle a goddamn 80 plus cc engine. It was a bicycle from third hand, costing $25. I mean, would you do something like that? I mean, wouldn't you get the bicycle inspected before you put the motor on it to make sure it can handle the power? I really believe that you're not that dumb to not get, but yeah, that's why Kenneth is no longer my identical twin brother. But you know what? Fuck it. Shit happens. Then we die, you know?
Okay, correct, right? But then from there he went from being nomadic to viruses. Are we a virus? I'm trying to figure out, like, is that because viruses spread and we came out of the Serengeti and spread all over the earth? Is that, I guess that's what, you know. Yeah. So first of all, yes, there's a lot of evolutionary features we have for all the time we were human until we settled. And a lot of those features are just sort of dangling there within us without any way to manifest other than in weird ways. Okay? And so, why else would we be intrigued by movie stars? Were it not for the fact that there was a day where the person who brought home the food was like the most important person in all the tribe. You want to have babies with that person. If you didn't, then your babies wouldn't be that person to sustain the future of the tribe. So what is the modern version of that? It's a person bigger than life on a screen. Even though they ain't bringing home the food. But we don't have to react to that genetically other than by how we were owned on the Serengeti.
That may explain why I want to have Keanu Reeves, baby.
Okay. So, there's leftover dangling features. Okay, so I think we are not alone as a species to spread where we are. Okay? Okay, but he said nomadic. If you're nomadic, you're here, then you go there. Usually you do that when you run out of food here, and you want to go over there, and you follow the herd. And so, but as an organism, we have one priority, and that's to reproduce ourselves. Our genetic code.
That's the primary priority of any virus.
Or any species.
Any species.
Yeah, if it didn't, they're not a species for very long. Right? They go extinct fast. So, now the virus part is we infect places, kill it, and then move to another place, leaving behind death and destruction.
And we're much worse than viruses.
Why?
Because the truly effective viruses evolve to a place where they know how to live parasitically.
Yes,
they don't eliminate the host.
To kill the host.
Yeah, because if you kill the host, there's no way to spread the germ.
Exactly. You're killing the golden goose.
Right.
So that, by his estimation, we are far worse than a virus.
Okay.
But we're just not smart enough to agree.
We're stupid viruses. Okay. Swag. The panel has.
There you go. Dumbass viruses.
The panel concludes, yes, we're as bad as viruses, but worse. And plus, we don't even know we're a virus. That makes us stupid.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Who said that? Oh, man. What's the character's name? But Mr. Anders.
No, of course, that's the Matrix.
I know, but what's his name?
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
He's a Smith.
Yes, the Smith.
Okay.
Mr. Anderson. And he says to...
no, he says it's Morpheus.
Morpheus.
Well, get your movie straight, dude. Well, Marcel, right? You can't remember the...
Wait a minute, that is the right movie.
It is, but you don't remember the name of the movie or the character.
I remember the name of the movie, I didn't remember the character's name.
All right, next up, who do we have?
All right, so staying with the theme of Hollywood,
Okay.
film director, Hollywood legend, Robert Reiner.
Robert Reiner.
We all want to know where we go after we pass away. Who knows? Heaven, hell, what happens? And I always thought, Neil thinks of us as we're all part of the cosmos. So since we're all part of the cosmos, do we then go back into the cosmos? How does that work? Where are all our atoms and molecules? Where do they go? I hope to God that you answered him. Well, Rob, most of us go back to the cosmos, but you're going to hell.
No, that's not how I answered him. And I had to resist. No, it would not have been. No. Okay, had that been a stupid question, I would have said, meathead. What do you call it? That was
on the family.
Archie Bunker called him meathead. That's this guy.
He played the son.
Okay, there's a lot going on in that question. So, first of all, nothing enters or exits the universe, can transform. Okay? So, I've spent my life dining upon flora and fauna to bring nourishment to my body. In death, it is my choice to be buried so that flora and fauna can dine upon me, completing the great
Circle of life.
circle of life.
Simba.
Behold.
The circle of life.
Thank you, Mufasa. Okay. So that's my sort of angle on that. There are others who want to be cremated. Yay! And for me, I'd rather keep the energy on Earth. But if you want to be cremated, what happens is all the energy that's contained in your molecules, because molecules, by their very existence, contain energy in the atomic bonds that connect them.
Right.
Okay? This is why anything burns at all. You say, oh, you're burning it. Where do you think the energy came for it to burn? Where do you think that comes from? You're breaking apart molecules, they're releasing energy, and they're exothermic. Okay, there it is. There's your chemistry term for it. The endothermic, sucking in heat, and exothermic, putting it out. So if you get cremated, your body turns to heat. You heat the air rises through the chimney. That air then enters our atmosphere, and it radiates infrared into the atmosphere, radiating infrared back into space, moving at the speed of light, infrared photons. So, if you want to live forever in the universe, then you be cremated, and your photons will be traveling across the galaxy. And the universe, ultimately. If you want to give back to the Earth, then you be buried. And now they have these caskets with like seeds embedded. They're like earthen caskets.
Biodegradable caskets.
Yeah, but they're not just biodegradable.
No, that's for things to come and eat.
Yeah,
That's basically it.
Yeah, you are the snack. For it's not just it degrades over time. They're turning you into compost. Is what they're actively tearing you up. So that's what's going on in the so when we die. And your consciousness, we want to believe that continues. If you don't upload it to a computer, these are just neurosynaptic firings in your brain, which we know go away when you go through a series of mini strokes. You go through strokes. Oh, now you don't know who you are. You can't speak the language. You have dementia. And to believe somehow that your actual consciousness is still there to be transported or transferred, when we know your brain just goes away, that requires leaps of faith that many people have, but not sort of atheistic scientists.
Where do we land in terms of our soul?
That's kind of the point. That's part of the
Part of the same consciousness question.
By the way, they tried to measure the soul, to their credit, back 120 years ago, 130 years ago, when X-rays were discovered by Wilhelm Röntgen, the German physicist, and where he saw the bones of his hand and his rings, and so the hard material, the bones and the metal, showed up on the photo. And he said, oh my gosh, and had immediate medical applications, of course. So at the time, people said, wait a minute, you can see through the body. Maybe if we x-ray you while you're dying, you'll be able to watch something come out of your body.
Don't want to be the volunteer for that.
No,
That's a serious experiment to volunteer for.
So they brought it to the hospital and they found nothing.
Right. See, now, as far as going out to the universe or going into the earth, my desire, and this is in my will, my instructions for what to do with me when I die. I want to be cremated, and then I want the ashes from my cremation.
Which at that point contained no energy at all.
No energy at all.
All of that, people say, these are my ashes. This is like the soot left over from the action that all happened when it was burned. But go on.
But part of it is you that's in there. And I want,
plus I'm told they can't burn the bones, so there's some bone chips.
There's some bone chips, yeah. But I don't want the bone chips, I just want the ashes, and I want the ashes taken to restaurants all around Manhattan and just put little bits in pepper shakers all over the city so that I can become a part of everybody in New York.
That's nasty.
Oh, that's not even true.
That's in your will, right? Okay.
I'm dead serious. I mean, nobody's going to honor it because it's against the law. I found out that it's against the law.
Okay.
So how do you were planning to carry this out?
I want that done.
Yeah, no.
Just a couple pinches, like a little bit, it's not much, just a pinch, and then you shake the pepper shaker up, and then I'm inside.
Okay, I don't mean to brag, but all the restaurants I eat in have pepper milk.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get to them too.
Mine doesn't have pepper shaker. I don't know where you eat.
That's just slide. That means I just got to slide a 22 a waiter.
Hello, Star Talkers. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, your host of the Star Talk podcast. I'm here to announce that we just opened a brand new channel on YouTube called Star Talk Plus. And that's where we're going to bring all kinds of innovative content that doesn't quite fit on our flagship channel, but they will involve experiments in what we create, what your reaction might be to what we create, and it's going to be our skunk works, as it were, to borrow a term from aerospace. So I look forward to sharing all of this new content with you. Check it out if you have a chance. All right, who you got up next?
Okay, next up, singer and TV celebrity Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, Kelly Clarkson!
America's sweetheart.
We all love Kelly Clarkson.
Who doesn't?
I have a friend of my niece who declared that the last time Americans agreed on anything, right, was when she won American Idol.
That may be, I hate to say it,
Ever since then,
that could be true.
America's been going downhill.
Well, in that case, she just totally screwed us.
That's
Doggone Kelly Clarkson. Ushering in the age of division.
what you got.
That's a burden to put on the young lady.
Okay, so I've been on her show several times.
Just out of curiosity,
I was even in one of her music videos.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is new
Oh, you
information.
didn't know about that?
Please do tell.
This is a music video. It was filmed around Columbus Circle when she was taping in the Time Warner Center. And so I was invited to just be someone on the street as she skips by, right? So she preloading the folks in the background, in the backdrop, right? And I was one of the people preloading. And
when you say you were in her video, you were a walker.
oh, stop!
That's what you were.
Let me.
You were an extra. And
Why you
now
gotta
digging in.
Why you gotta say that? Why you gotta let me feel big in the show?
No, it's an extra. And all of a sudden he's lead now.
Okay, so I've been on the show many times, and so this is one of the times I managed to nail a question from
Let's look
her.
at this question about what a phenomenon that occurs here on Earth. She's wondering if it occurs elsewhere. Listen to us.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so Neil, are there rainbows anywhere else in the universe? Do they exist?
Ooh,
Well, we all know that rainbows happen when unicorns part. So,
Okay.
the real question is, are there unicorns?
wait, I thought unicorns poop out ice cream, multicolored ice cream, like Neapolitan ice cream.
I don't even know what to do with that, man.
I hadn't heard the fart one.
That-
I had
No,
heard
a
the
unicorn
one.
fart is rainbows. That's where rainbows.
Where did you? What nursery rhyme did you get this from?
Well, I mean, that's just science, man. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, so a rainbow. Okay. Of course, sunlight going through a raindrop and refracting into the raindrop and then dispersing as it comes out. So refract is just simply the bending of light, but light, when it goes from a lighter medium into a heavier medium, it actually disperses. So you go from white light, and you know what happens? The different colors of light travel at different speeds in the medium. Since they travel at different speeds, they separate out. And the blue separates from the indigo, from the orange, and the yellow, and the green. They got their own lane. They got their own lane. And so it refracts in, disperses, and those then come out. And if you have a wall of raindrops, okay, and with the sun oriented properly, basically directly behind you, then you see a rainbow. If you could reproduce that anywhere in the universe, you will get a rainbow. So the question is, are there any planets that have rain, or some other transparent liquid coming out of the sky?
So how about when we're planets where there's liquid methane, and you have a methane rain, which you get the same thing?
That should also give you a rainbow. By the way, we also have moonbows. Okay, so this would be moonlight coming through. You've seen these coming through. So I'm thinking if moonbows, then raindrops should be making sunbows.
So I recently experienced a new kind of rainbow for me. I was up flying in a helicopter, and I have to add to this, didn't have any doors on it, which was proper scary for someone who's scared of heights. And I saw a circular rainbow beneath me. And that's the first time that I didn't even know that they existed.
Okay, this is an amazing fact. Why were you in a helicopter without doors?
Maybe the pilot thought it was a thrill for me and my white knuckles.
Okay, so
Actually, no.
here are two facts.
Legs out the side.
Yeah. Here are two facts. Okay, all rainbows are complete circles. Fact number one.
Okay.
Fact number two, all rainbows are a series of rainbows. Only occasionally do you ever get to see the second of them. Okay, there's the primary rainbow, which we all see when we see a rainbow. Then there's a second, there's a third, and a fourth. And they're dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. And typically in daylight, you don't notice them. Okay, so not only that, wherever the rainbow is, you are in the exact line between that rainbow and the source of light creating it, such as the sun. Well, when you're on the ground and it's raining and the sun is directly overhead, you would have a rainbow beneath your feet, but that's not the configuration of the optics for you. Okay? So the sun has to be low enough for the top of the rainbow to then show up in the sky, then you say the rainbow's in the sky. But if you're well above the whole thing, then the sun is behind you, you're up above, the sun is behind you, and you can see the entire circle of the rainbow. And it's 20, if I remember correctly, 22.5 degrees in radius. Every single rainbow is exactly the same size.
It's interesting because the pilot, as much as he was a thrill seeker, said, right, you're going to get a real rainbow experience coming up here now. So he saw the rain,
and he on purpose.
He did exactly what he needed to do to give us that experience.
On purpose. Yeah. So what you didn't know to look for the second rainbow. Chuck, you remember early internet? There was this guy who was hiking or whatever. The double rainbow guy. You remember that? Oh my god! It's a double rainbow. No, it's the guy. Oh my god, I'm so high. No, that basically a religious experience.
Yes,
he's like, and he's sort of tearing. You don't see him, you only hear him, but he's clearly
he's taking the video, so that's what you're hearing.
Yeah, he's prostrate. He's on the ground. He's tearing up. And he says, "What does this mean?" And I'm sorry, I had to reply to that. And I said, "This is what happens to you if you never had a class in physics." Yeah. You see natural phenomena and think it's divine.
Yes.
When it's very this is how rainbows work.
He was also tripping balls on mushrooms.
I'm dead serious.
That's what came out
If
later.
you haven't seen it, I mean, it's now
it's
Internet Archive.
Yeah, but
Archive.
it's
double rainbow
guy, and he's always worth it.
It's just physics, dude.
But then it came out later, like he did an interview or something. He was like, I was out of my mind on mushrooms.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So which is cool. I mean, I love it.
So, and they're all the same size, and every rainbow is unique to you.
Especially when you make them with a garden hose, which is what we used to do as kids.
Okay.
You put the garden hose on shower, and you turn the hose straight up, and you put the shower in the air, and then it's got to be a sunny day, of course, and you make a rainbow.
In my housing project, we didn't have garden hoses.
And that made me feel bad about my upbringing.
I'm just saying. Okay. In the Castle Hill housing project, we didn't have a backyard with an adjustable hose.
I can't help my bougie upbringing.
What kind of hood are you from? No, the point is, each rainbow is an optics just for you. So every rainbow is exactly face on. You've never seen a rainbow at an angle to your sightline. You ever notice that? Okay, try to notice that.
I have.
So because of that, if you walk towards a rainbow, it will move, because it's always the same angular size, it will move farther away from you until you are in the rain and it's not, and you can't see it, okay? You can chase it out of the rain. And because it's always face onto you and at the same distance to you, optically, I think that is the same angle, you can never go to the end of the rainbow, which makes it an excellent place to hide gold.
Exactly.
So Kelly, there's whenever there's rain and sunshine, there's a rainbow.
Okay.
All right.
Wherever in the universe.
That's cool.
So it might be a methane bug.
Or a methane bug.
Yeah, or ammonia bug.
An ammonia bug.
Yeah, that's cool. Ammonia is a liquid and a lot of overlapping temperature range as water. So an ammonia doesn't have rare ingredients. It's nitrogen and hydrogen, NH3.
Yeah, you're going to give us the similar colorways we get in both rainbows, or is it going to skew differently?
No, it depends on what the color source is. So if it's our sun, it's going in there with white, blue, big,
right? White light.
You do white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. You got it. Good one, Kelly.
Right, so next up, actor comedian Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard.
Yeah. So Dax is kind of like not quite remembering an explanation you gave to him about aerodynamics. So he's
okay.
He's
So Dax.
For another one.
So Dax is married to Kristen Bell. Yeah. Right. So I met her once at Comic-Con, and I met him later. And I was on his podcast in his garage apartment in his backyard in Los Angeles.
Nice.
Yeah. So I said, I got, if I'm gonna be on the podcast, you gotta give me a question for my shelf.
And a host with variable setting.
It was near the swimming pool, yes. But his swimming pool wasn't as big as Chuck's swimming pool in his backyard. Give it to me. Jack Shepard.
Neil, I have a question. It's about the lift. Now, I said the other day on the show that lifts caused by the shape of the wing being longer on the top than the bottom, or vice versa, that the air splits and travels faster, so that makes it lighter. And then people said, I don't think you have that right. So I want to know, how does it lift work?
Just to be clear, it matters more that an airplane wing is a wing than what its precise shape is in cross section. Because a plane, if it moves at the proper angle, upwards with its nose up, the air coming at it will just lift it. Okay, just regardless of the
I
shape.
just saying, I was thinking about the old biplanes, how they used to have that angle in rest.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the plane horizontal, good memory there. Yeah, from those photos. The horizontally parked plane, the wings are pitched upwards, angled upwards. Okay, and it's how I saw it done once. Probably other planes can do it. The F-16 fighter jet can actually fly upside down, and all you have to do is make sure that it's angled into the wind. You're Tom Cruise. Boy, that its angle into the wind gives enough lift to the bottom of the plane. So you get lift for free just doing that. All right. In addition, you have this Bernoulli effect, okay? Where you have a mass of air, the wing splits the air, and the air going above the curved top travels faster than the air on the bottom to catch up with what was on the bottom. And if you have faster moving air, there's less pressure there. And I can do that.
All right, here we go. Oh, I know where you're going.
Okay, it's this experiment here where I just have a ribbon of paper. I can blow across the top of it. That'll be faster moving air than what's on the bottom.
And the bottom
when I do
lifts
that,
up.
the bottom just lifts it straight up.
Yeah.
So it's the speed of the air. So there's still some debate about the relative value of each of those contributing to the total lift of the plane. I've seen people argue about this, but I can say that both play a role. And if you sit over the wing when the plane is either taking off or landing, it wants the maximum lift it possibly can have. Because it's not going 500 miles an hour yet, okay? So at whatever speed, with your fat ass on the thing and everybody's luggage, it needs as much lift as it can. So the wing on takeoff and on landing is as large as possible. The wing extends the flaps. Take a look next time, okay? It extends it, gives it more lift than it otherwise would have, and then as it approaches speed, the wing shrinks back.
Right. Same thing with the F-17.
That's the F-15. Any of the supersonic planes.
Yeah, they all.
When they go supersonic, they reduce the areas of wing they don't need. They don't need it because they're going so fast.
What's with the nose? With a supersonic.
Oh, no, you're talking about the Concorde.
Yeah, plus the other thing, that's what they.
No, the nose is because the nose is so long, the pilot can't see the runway. That's the only reason. So the nose goes down so it can see where the hell it's going. Right. Also, on the bigger jets, in the back of the plane, you see it angles up to the tail. Have you ever seen that? You know what that angle is? It has to be there because when it takes off,
You don't want to drag.
you don't want to drag the bottom of the back of the plane. It has to clear the runway when it angles to increase the lift to go up.
When you say pilots just get the nose the hell out of the way, I want him to do it in that pilot voice.
No.
They go to pilot school.
If you
Learn how to do
learn,
the pilot voice.
I went to planetarium school. You get to talk like this in the dome. Welcome. That's planetarium school.
I know, it's the same thing with and he's got this calming.
Yeah, you're very calm, even though like you're about to fly into the side of a mountain.
They all sound the same. Like when you turn on NPR and all the, no matter what NPR, they all sound the same. That's what the pilots are.
Have you ever wanted one of your questions on the universe answered? We all have questions about the universe. From black holes to quasars, quantum entanglement, wormholes. There is no end to the depths of cosmic curiosity. Well, the entry level of Patreon membership with Star Talk gets you just that. It starts at $5 a month. You have access to the question line that reaches our Cosmic Query program. And not only that, we produce a special Cosmic Queries installment just for Patreon members.
If you weren't the director of the Hayden Planetarium, what do you think you would be doing?
Right, but this had to be another universe. It didn't happen in this universe.
Okay.
I'd be a songwriter for Broadway musicals.
Ooh!
So that's the entry level, and the perks ascend from there. There's a level, in fact, where we send you an autographed copy of one of my latest books. Right now, it's Starry Messenger, Cosmic Perspectives on Civilization. And it's signed with my fancy fountain pen with purple ink. So I invite you to just check the link below, and all of that money goes to our ability to experiment with new ways of bringing the universe down to Earth. So thank you for those who've already joined, and we welcome others to participate in this grand adventure of what it is to bring the universe down to Earth. As always, keep looking up.
Next up, oh gosh, yes. Star of Curb Your Enthusiasm, J.B. Smoot.
J.B. Smoot!
He's curious.
Okay, I first met him, and he had it was a dinner. I forgot the name of the show. It was like, you have dinner with five guys around the table. Around the table. It was a real food, with cameras everywhere. Right. And first time I met Jerry Cooney. Okay. By the way, the boxer. I remember when he was active. I didn't know who he was at the table. I kind of recognized him, but I kind of didn't.
Let me tell you something. As many times as he's been video up, he didn't know who he was.
Yeah, my boy he'd been pummeled by a lot of folk in the past. So I do not have small hands.
Yes, I know that. I know. Yeah.
Okay, I don't have small hands. So I'm accustomed to what other hands feel like when I shake them. I shook this man's hand. My hand, I felt like Charles handed. And I said, who is this guy? Yeah. And then I was reminded he was Jerry Cooney.
Those giant meat hooks.
Meat hook hands. Right. So he was at the table, and J.B. Smoke was there, and we just chilled. Nice. And so then I had a cameo on Kevin Hart's House Husbands of Hollywood.
Real House Husbands, yeah.
Real House Husbands of Hollywood. Yeah. I had a cameo, and I think he's a regular, and so I bumped into him in the hair and makeup. And he's still got someone working on his hand. He's still got the smock on, whatever you call it when you're there. And I said, I gotta get a question from him. So here it is.
Hey Neil, it's the guy J.B. Smoot. You know me, man. I'm always full of questions, man. And I'm also a world traveler. You know, in my mind, I'm also a space traveler. I've been everywhere, all the planets, Milky Way, all that good stuff. You know, I should have been on Mars right now with that damn rover, the space rover. I never been driving anything around. Anyway, here's my question. I saw a movie. I was turning the channel the other day, and I saw Superman, right? And Lois Lane had died. And the man went around Earth counterclockwise, I think. Let me 100 times in a row. Shoot. Neil, is it possible for anything who can break the sound barrier to go reverse of the Earth's rotation and change time and go back and save a life? I need to know, Neil, take care of me. Thousand mind want to know.
That wasn't so much a question as a distress flare.
It was a distress call, right? Okay, that's an iconic scene in the original Superman, the movie, right? And that was 1970 something, maybe. I don't know.
Christopher Reeve?
Christopher Reeve, yeah, we was on several of them, but that was the first one. Yeah, whatever that was. Might have been a couple of years earlier. But anyhow, in that film, Lois Lane dies, and she's a love interest of his. And he's very upset. He decides to change the direction of time. Right. Okay? So he gets up and flies backwards around the Earth's direction of rotation. Mm-hmm. And apparently that creates enough sort of friction, I guess, between his force field and Earth's, that Earth slows down, stops, and reverses. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Then he goes back to before Lois Lane dies, but now he has to jumpstart Earth again, because that's how he left it, but now he starts at an earlier moment in time. So he does this, then reverses, okay? Now it's earlier than Lois Lane dies. He goes back, saves Lois Lane, and there it is.
I think that is definitely doable.
You think so?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yes.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Okay, so, okay, let's assume it is doable, which it isn't. But let's assume it is.
It is.
If you stop the rotation of the Earth,
Right,
anything not seat belted to the solid Earth,
right.
will slide due east at 800 miles an hour. 1,000 miles at the equator, 800 miles where we are, a little slower near Santa Claus. The entire...
All right, so there's a hiccup.
Okay, the entire North and South Atlantic Ocean will wash onto Europe and Africa. The entire Pacific Ocean will wash onto North and South America. And that act would have killed billions of people.
All worth it for Lois.
Because she's such a charmer.
All worth it for Lois Lane, buddy.
There's a surf event. A proper surf event for that.
So he would have killed billions. Yeah. So that's first of all. Second, the flow of time on Earth is unrelated to what direction we happen to rotate. Yeah.
Aren't there planets that rotate in
The opposite direction, right? Venus among them, right?
Exactly.
So the rotation direction. The other people who think if you stop rotation, we'll all float, right? No, this people need.
Yeah, they think the rotation of the Earth is actually sticking us to the Earth because of centrifugal
In fact,
force.
the opposite. If you're at the equator, the spinning of the Earth makes you a little lighter because it wants to fling you off. You're a few ounces lighter on the equator than you are at higher altitude.
It's just a
No,
direction.
you weigh less, but you'll still be as fat as you were. Just all that fat together will show up less
That's
on
on
the
the
scale.
scale.
That's all.
That's
You'll
it.
look exactly the
Right.
same.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why ruin that? Oh,
Okay, but he's Superman, and so yeah, we'll give him a cut of it. You give him a break. I'll give him a whole pass on that one.
That's it.
It was very memorable. It was inventive for a movie, and it was using special effects of
Nobody even considered at that point.
Right,
So,
right. In its day.
yeah.
And we got to end here, but let me just say that I met Superman. Oh, really? You know, I met Superman.
do that.
Now, your next question is supposed to be what?
How did you get Superman?
No.
Which one?
Which Superman?
Oh, which?
Okay, no.
See, there's only one Superman.
And that's the one I met. There you go.
Okay. So that's the real Superman.
I met the real Superman.
That's the guy in the comics.
I'm the comics.
That's
I
right.
am
Just the
in.
rest of them are all pale imitations.
I'm in Action Comics 14.
Yes.
Your telephone booth?
And so Superman visits the Hayden Planetarium. He comes to my place here, and we talk about. I won't give away the
That'd
story.
be so funny if you came out as his arch nemesis, Black Science.
Black Science Man. Well, I think I have a copy of it. Hold on here. Hold on.
Right.
So you
I
have.
have in my hands. This is Action Comics 14. Okay, and this is Superman. And one of
Why
the,
don't you keep that in a plastic sleeve? What? You're supposed to keep it in a plastic sleeve.
maybe I have more than one of these.
Oh,
Okay, because I'm in it. This is not the last one that exists in the universe in a plastic sleeve. So one of the stories, he comes to the planetarium so that we can bring together all of our electronics and our computers to witness in the sky the destruction of Krypton.
Oh, see,
Because that light was just then reaching Earth. And so,
Superman's a little morbid, huh?
yeah. So here's the Rose Center for Earth and Space, right there. And he comes to visit, and there it is.
Can I see? I want to do a dramatic reading.
You want to?
I'm doing a quick dramatic reading. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's start here.
On the other page.
What? Okay, here we go. Here it goes. Is this Neil? Okay. No, yeah. So, well, it starts over here. All right. He says, "Thank you, Lisa, but our guest is a busy man. Let him do what he came here to do." Dr. Tyson. That was Superman. Okay. And he says, "Tonight of all nights, Superman, please call me Neil." That was awesome. That's awesome. And then Neil, oh my God, look how much they made Neil look like
Billy D. Williams. That's amazing. This is great. Okay, so then they walk over to a control room, and Superman is being escorted by Neil, and he says, "We've arranged something special tonight. Usually, when you visit, the best we can do is draw inferences from the fluctuations in starlight from stars in the Corvus constellation. But this time, data from telescopes all over the world are being fed right here." And then Superman says, "All over? That must have been huge." Hey, no, he's like, I'm telling you, 12 years old. But people don't know, that's how the real Superman in the comics, that's how he talks. That's what makes him even more super than with Superman. Because when you talk, when he shows up, he's like, he's just like, "Hey, is everything okay, guys?" So then, and then Neil says, "Please, after all you've done for the world, the whole astrophysics community felt it was the least that they could do." And then Superman goes, I, oh, geez, thanks." When they called me up and they said, they first wanted permission to film here. And then they called me back and said, "Can we portray you?" And I'm going to say no to that. Well, that's not a no. Well, that's not a no question, right? So anyway, so I have actually met Superman, and this was that's super cool. Yeah. All right, yeah, that's all we have time for. We have more though, right? Okay. We'll do this again. We'll just do it again. Totally do this again. Anyway, so this has been Star Talk Special Edition. Of course, with Gary and Chuck. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, that was great. I enjoy this format. And until next time, this is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
The universe is so complicated that it may be more complicated than we can ever fathom.
No, that's the hubristic way to say it.
Oh.
That's not how I said it. Okay?
How did you say it again?
We might not be smart enough. Okay? If you're hubristic, you would say, we are smart, but the universe is just really complicated. That's not what I said. I said we might not be smart enough to figure out a universe that could be trivial to the brain of a more intelligent species. So check your hubris at the door. Otherwise, you will not bask in the cosmic perspective that so much of this discussion brings upon us. So, may I now give you my cop-out answer? My cop-out answer is, I think often about the questions we do not yet know to ask, because discoveries yet to come, but when they arrive, will put us in a new vista, a new place to stand, enabling us to see questions undreamt of and unimagined before we got there. So when I, again, lay awake at night, I ponder what kinds of questions lay beyond our reach. Because the questions that we even know how to pose, they're there. Those are not even interesting to me anymore because we knew how to ask the question. I want to know the question that is beyond everyone's reach. And by definition, I can't because we haven't gotten there yet. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't dream of that frontier. And
that sounded like a coda to me, I gotta say. I can hear the orchestra playing.
Can I offer a better coda?
Yes. And then we'll let you go. But
we went long. Sorry, we went long. Try not to ever forget that the history of this exercise, this beautiful exercise where we find out where we fit in this great unfolding of cosmic events and phenomena, that the larger grows the area of knowledge. The bigger that area grows, just remember, so too grows our perimeter of ignorance. It may be that as much as we think we know, as much as we know we know, as much as the more things that we ultimately learn, for all we know, we could be steeped in the center of infinite ignorance, which then provides job security forever for scientists. Right? Robert Mueller. Former captain of the Bronx High School of Science wrestling team, and is the author of the book that we're honoring tonight, Death by Black Hole and Other Cosmic Quandaries. Now, paperback by Northern Press. So if you're wondering what a cosmic quandary is, before Neil comes in, I'll pose you 3 pseudo-cosmic quandaries. What is the highest spot on Earth? And the answer is not Mount Everest. A scoop of which...
I'm bored.
Have you ever repeatedly punched yourself in the genitals on public transportation? I have. It was late December and I was feeling Christmas horny. You know Christmas horny? Oh, if you don't celebrate Christmas, Christmas horny is the kind of intense sexual arousal you can only reach by spending quality time with your family. Just that, oh my God, I would fuck anyone to get out of this house right now. I would get riled by anyone in any position just to sidestep this intergenerational trauma for 5 fucking minutes. Yeah, it's Christmas horny. It had been a strange Christmas because earlier in the year we lost my uncle. We found him again, but he was dead. It was a Tuesday, which is the comedian's Monday. Not to be confused with Wednesday, which is the alcoholic's Friday. And of course, not mentioning Sunday, because that's the Lord's Day. Not to be confused with the day of our Lord, which is of course when Jesus Christ will return to earth to redeem his faithful believers while banishing all unbelievers to the torture and despair of eternal damnation, because Jesus can be a bit of a cunt like that. I've been to the grocery store to purchase some groceries, and I was musing on the origin of the word grocer and how it was originally used to describe a place which sold items in bulk or gross amounts, and how that evolved and changed over the years to now, where it's the place itself that's fucking gross. I think it's the distance between cause and effect I find most depressing at the supermarket. Every oak tree turned toilet paper. Every shark turned fish finger. Every art degree graduate turned shelf stacker. 10,000 years of agricultural innovation reduced to a rickety trolley full of food-shaped science experiments and a clean-up in aisle 4. Always piss in aisle 4. It's a security camera blind spot. And that distance between cause and effect is still there when you get home from the...
Yeah, I got it from one of my nurses, which was a biker. She was a Harley Davidson biker. She gave it to me at the military hospital. Because apparently, because my because of my slong, I apparently became one of her favorite patients.
Supermarket. The deportation-fearing farm worker inhaling pesticides for $3 an hour just so you can leave a tomato congealing in your crisper for long enough for it to figure out how to clamber out and call the cops. My crisper's fucked up, man. It's primordial in my crisper. I recently sold the rights to my crisper to the BBC. David Attenborough is filming in my fridge as we speak. And if I were a lesser man, I would probably do a David Attenborough impersonation at this point of the show, but it's a slippery fucking slope. Before you know it, I'll be sitting on a couch across from Graham Norton, awkwardly sweating my way through my best Matthew McConaughey or Owen Wilson impersonation. Longing for the days when all you needed to make it in comedy was a loud shirt and a versatile pair of eyebrows. I have neither! And I don't trust the variety in the supermarket. Too many fucking things. All of those specialty stores bulldozed for the soulless convenience of a one-stop shop. I recall as a child, every product had its very own shop. There was the fucking Fruit Loop shop. Fucking frozen pea shop. That was, of course, before the frozen pea man was arrested for selling his own chilled urine to the public. Frozen pea? Actual pea that's been frozen? Okay, listen, Melbourne. Look, you're not going to get a frozen urine joke of that caliber anywhere within the greater Melbourne region on a Friday night. That joke's worth the price of admission, and what I'm sensing tonight, Melbourne, is you don't fucking deserve that joke!
My point is,
I find it inherently unnatural stocking items at extreme opposite ends of the goods spectrum side by side in the one place. Did we learn nothing from the wet market? It's disgusting. But I needed a 9-volt battery, a tin of shortbread biscuits, a bag of mandarins, and a coat hanger. So what am I going to do? I'm not making multiple stops. Do I look like a postman? Don't answer that, I do look a little bit like a postman. In case you're wondering, I used neither trolley nor basket, because I prefer carrying too many things. If there are things to be carried, I'll fucking carry them. But there must be too many of them, and I wish to carry them all at once. I want to cut off my circulation. I would like to dislocate several of my fingers. There better be a fucking staircase involved. And when I reach my destination, I want to drag those items across the threshold like I'm a field medic in a World War II film. Stay with me, goddammit! I ain't losing you now, goddamn you! We gotta get you home to Bessie Lou! Oh, no, goddamn, it's on the trip of on the trip So I'm at the self-checkout. I always use the self-checkout when I'm at the supermarket. You know how in the supermarket now you can put your own shit? You know how they let you do your own fucking... Sorry, I was just having a flashback to a joke I wrote in 2009. That was weird. Did you see that? What was that? So I'm at the self-checkout and I pretend to scan my goods and I pretend to pay for them and I go out on the street. And I make my way to the bus stop. Now, I don't oft catch bus, but at the time this story occurs, I was driving a 2000 model 93S convertible Saab. Yeah, pretty sweet ride. Would have set you back about $40,000 in the year 2000. My dad bought one for $2,000 in 2016, spent $400 fixing it up, and now I, at the age of 43, borrow it when I'm in Melbourne between international tours. International tours which are going so well that when I'm in Melbourne between international tours, I borrow my dad's 2000 model 93S convertible car. Oh, yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, thanks. The Saab is clearly not the only thing depreciating in value. It's so much fun to drive around in the Saab with the top down when you have a passenger. As soon as the passenger gets out, you turn into an instant fucking douchebag. Because it's no longer an opportunistic parental car loan situation with a nifty soft top bonus feature. It's a 43-year-old making a conscious choice to drive around in a 2000 model 93S convertible Saab, just barebacking the open air for all to see, taking a detour past the nearest grassy knoll in the hopes someone will blow my fucking head off. On this particular day, I have locked my keys in the car. It is not the first time I have done this. I've already poked a small hole in the soft top for easy coat hanger access. Hence the coat hanger purchase. So I get to the bus stop and I sit down on the bench and I inadvertently knock an empty can of Coke off the end of the bench and it lands on the ground and a couple of European wasps crawl out of it looking for something to kill. I'm not a big fan of the European wasp. First introduced to Australia in 1959, they aggressively took over the landscape, taking more than their fair share and steamrolling anyone who got in their way. Sound familiar? Yes, they're exactly like Spotify. There's something very humbling about a bee sting killing the bee. The barb of her stinger lodging in her enemy and then disemboweling her as she pulls away. Humble yet graphically violent. If taken literally, it puts a whole new spin on the Muhammad Ali philosophy, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, doesn't it? By that logic, he'd throw one punch and then shit his intestines out all over the ring. Wasps, on the other hand, just keep stinging. Thrusting away like some sort of... writing this bit. I never thought it would devolve into me just thrusting at one person going, don't get me wrong, I'm glad it got there, but you know, originally when I wrote it, I couldn't actually think of an appropriate thruster to be thrusting in this imaginary thrust scenario that I created. So I literally Googled the word thrusting. And the first thing that actually comes up is the definition, which is the motion of pushing or lunging suddenly or violently. But the second thing that came up was an article from AskMen.com from the 22nd of November, 2022, entitled Thrusting Techniques. Can using different thrusting techniques turn you into a better lover? I'll save you the read. The answer is not really. And I quote from the article, no amount of memorizing and applying different thrusting techniques can equal the importance of talking to your partner about what they want in bed. Oh yes, it's quite an elaborate description of the word consent, isn't it? But no amount of memorizing. But this is a safe space. Melbourne, just by round of applause, who here is currently memorizing thrusting techniques? Anybody? Anybody? People don't usually clap. I have so many questions. Are you practicing in front of a mirror? Or is there like a Duolingo style app that you have to use? 15 minutes a day and now I'm fluent in conversational thrusting. Or do you have to learn it like dance choreography? 5, 6, 7, and thrust. I wouldn't be any good at it, man. I was never good at memorizing information for exams when I was at school. I used to cheat and write the answers on the back of my hand. So in this scenario, I'd be there in bed, looking at the back of my hand. Okay, push or lunge, suddenly or violently, doesn't seem right. Okay. This is the rest of the show, by the way. So I'm at the bus stop. And I am alone at the bus stop, but I know people will come. And I know in my heart that they will be odd people. Because every bus stop in the world is the opening scene in an independent short film. It's just the way the universe works. Every time I am at a bus stop, there are weird characters there with me, and I can see the camera angles. I can see the script. I can see the disappointed parents who thought filmmaking was just a phase. Until one day their child asks if they can borrow the 2000 model 93S convertible Saab. So, I'm sitting at the bus stop, waiting for principal photography to commence on this independent short film. And over to my right, I hear somebody scream, "Walking Man!" I look over, and standing in the middle of the intersection is a white man, looks to be in his early 30s, top half, crisp white button-up shirt, blue tie, bottom half, jogging shorts, Crocs, with a Japanese tiger tattooed on each calf muscle, and I was like, ha 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 ha, roll camera! There was a car trying to turn left into the intersection, and he's walking alongside the car, pointing up at the traffic lights, going, "Walking man! Walking man! Walking man! Walking man!" The driver of the car is an elderly Asian woman, and at first I think, oh, maybe his aggression is racially motivated. But it can't be that, because his calf muscles are so racially diverse. He bangs on the bonnet. She manages to drive around him and take off down the street, and he chases after the car, screaming expletives, and then comes and sits next to me on the bench. He smells of microbreweries and cryptocurrency. He takes out an enormous vape pen and starts vaping.
If you used to smoke cigarettes and now you vape, you're a real piece of shit.
Sorry, I was just having a flashback to a joke I wrote in 2018. That keeps happening. Isn't that weird how that keeps happening? A screaming man exhales a huge plume of raspberry and sauerkraut flavored vapor. I reach into my pocket and I take out the 9-volt battery I got at the supermarket. I make a bit of a display of opening the package, take out the battery, hold it up to the light, give it a little sniff, and then start furiously licking the end of it. I wait till I can feel Screaming Man looking at me, and then I turn to him and I say, "Oh, I used to vape, but this is much healthier." Screaming Man looks confused. Mission accomplished. I've actually been doing this little battery trick for a while now. And look, initially, it probably started out as like a passive-aggressive political statement about the dangers of vaping. But now I'm addicted to licking 9-volt batteries. Can't stop, won't stop. After a few more licks, I pop the battery in my pocket, and I reach for the bag of mandarins. They're in one of those orange netting bags that they come in from the supermarket, and as I rip it open, I think of the ocean. Dead fish. Cause and effect. James Cameron. Mandarins are the perfect palate cleanser for a 9-volt battery, by the way. Their acidities just cancel each other out somehow. So anytime I'm licking bats, always got a couple of Mandos on standby, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I take out 2 mandarins and I offer one to Screaming Man. Mandarin? Oh, yes please, he says, and he takes one. And at that moment, a young woman arrives and sits down on the bench between Screaming Man and me. And someone, somewhere, wins an Academy Award for Best Casting in an Independent Short Film. She is perfect. 31, could play 28, lemon cardigan, cute bob, bangs, pink Converse, houseplant tattoo, hoop skirt, starburst earrings, emotional support guinea pig. She's the kind of woman who has a guinea pig on a leash at the bus stop. Fuck yes! She got that Twitch streaming, cosplay and cupcake bacon, pronoun flippin' D&D on ketamine, geek chic bubble tea thing going on. I mentally run through my schedule for the next couple of months, decide I have nothing important happening, and instantly fall in love with this woman. Damn you, Christmas horny! Manfred! Oh, yes, please, she says, and she takes one. And there we sit. 3 characters in an independent short film, silently enjoying our mandarins with a fucking guinea pig. Shot through the heart, and you're to blame, darling, you did go. Oh, bad name. The fact that Screaming Man's ringtone is Bon Jovi totally tracks with his character. The fact that he stands up and walks away to a respectful distance to answer the call does not track with his character at all. Because if this was an independent short film, he would answer the phone on the bench next to us, and his one-sided telephone conversation would do a lot of heavy lifting when it came to revealing later moments of the plot. He'd be all like, no, I am not coming into work today, for I have a funeral to attend. And even if I get somehow swept up in the story of 2 unlikely strangers and a guinea pig, you better damn well believe I will be attending that funeral right on sunset. But he doesn't. He gets up and fucks off. And I'm starting to feel very disappointed until I notice the young woman is looking at me. I'm Phoebe. Of course you are. Just as the word sizzle is onomatopoeic for the sound a sausage makes while frying in a fry pan, Phoebe is onomatopoeic for the sound a rabbit makes when it sees a butterfly. Phoebe is the sound of a baby duck sneezing. Phoebe is the sound of a tadpole with the hiccups. Phoebe is the sound of a fox's tail brushing past a Nintendo Switch. Phoebe is the sound of the wind whistling through a crochet bikini top, drying on a Balinesian sunbed. Phoebe is the sound of an acai berry smoothie through a paper straw. Phoebe is the sound of the doorbell ringing at the house where you've nervously arranged the first threesome in your 6-year monogamous relationship. Phoebe, 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 Phoebe. Hello, Phoebe. My name's Randy. Hello, Randy. This, she says, holding up the guinea pig, is Simone de Beauvoir.